Tommy Baldwin is our guest today on Raceline. Hey, Tommy, thanks for joining us. Good to have you with us on Raceline.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
All right, as we said, it's All-Star Race Week in Charlotte. And as we explained before, a lot of teams are using this as a practice session. You decided a different way. Instead of practicing at the racetrack, they use your time another way to prepare for next week's 600.
Well, I mean, we got a lot of work now since we're running a full schedule, and we got a lot of race cars to build. We got, we just had to pick a weekend that we could take a break, and thank goodness we don't have to be there the All-Star weekend. It's great. It's a great show that Charlotte Motor Speedway puts on, but unfortunately for us, to go there would take away from the shop and all the things we need to do here for the 600, for Kansas, for Pocono, for the road course races and speedway races. We just got a lot of stuff to work on. We don't have, we got 12 guys here. We don't have hundreds of people working on our stuff. So we got to pick and choose our battles, and that's the battle that we felt that we just needed to leave alone for now.
I was talking about how well your team has done this year, the good showing at Talladega and Richmond and Darlington, and now you have a sponsor. It appears things have certainly turned around for the good for you guys.
Well, it's been great. Obviously, take a look back when we started this program in January 2009 and where we are today, it's a lot of improvement, and that's what we're looking for. I mean, we have a 3 to 5 year plan, and we're into our 3rd year, and right now we're just starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. So it's been a good ride right now.
Those good showings you've had over the last several weeks, how much of a morale boost is that for your team members?
It's real big. I mean, Richmond was even bigger than Talladega because Richmond's a lot harder to run up front the way we did. So, back 10 years ago, a top 10 was great. I mean, there was probably 15 good cars. Now there's 30 good race cars. I mean, sometimes you're running 30th, and you're looking at the names that are on the monitor, and you're going, how are we going to pass these guys? So if you get to, a top 15 or top 20, that's like a top 10 years ago, for us. Again, we got a lot of work ahead of us. We got a really good baseline, really good groundwork that we're working off of right now, and we just have to continue that process.
All right, Tommy, stick around with us. We've got more for you coming up today on Raceline. Tommy first came into the sport as a crew chief, at least on the Sprint Cup Series level, with Dick Trickle back in 1997. He joined Bill Davis Racing in 1999, worked with Ward Burton, took him to 4 wins, including the 2002 Daytona 500. He went to Ray Evernham Racing and worked with Casey Kane, taking him to Rookie of the Year honors, and then back to Bill Davis Racing, where he worked with Dave Blaney before forming Tommy Baldwin Racing in 2009. We're talking to Tommy Baldwin, one of the independent teams, doing it with limited resources and doing a pretty good job of it. Tommy, talk about what you've done there. Obviously, it was a dream of yours to own your own race team, but I imagine getting to this point has been quite a process.
Well, I mean, it's been hard. I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody. It's been probably the hardest thing that we've ever tried to do in our lives, and to get where we are now is pretty satisfying, but we're not at the point yet that we can rest. We need to build this program up, get to so it's competing on a top level at every week, and right now we're probably going to be hit and miss at certain racetracks, and that's the things that we got to work on for the future. But definitely having Golden Corral on board and Excel Construction and Big Red on board is a huge burden off our backs to be able to relax a little bit and just concentrate on racing now. But now we got next year. The things, we're working already for next year to get the proper funding so we can do even a better job next year. So it just keeps working, and the process just keeps moving and moving, along every day. It's not, you can't just stop today and say, okay, we've made it, and here's what we're going to do. We have to look forward to 6, 8, 9 months down the road already. So. It's great to have these names on the car, and great to have these great partners, and great to give back and get them the business that they need. That's working perfectly. Now we just have to continue that to the future.
All right, already this year we've had several feel-good stories, as I mentioned early on. Trevor Bayne winning at Daytona, Regan Smith at Darlington a few weeks ago. How does it make you feel seeing an underdog win like that in comparison to your situation? Kind of similar, I guess, isn't it?
Well, it's great that is, you know, the thing is that's different from us, unfortunately, is, you know, the Wood brothers are very tight-knit with Roush Fenway Racing, and Furniture Row is very tight-knit with the RCR group, so they get information on a daily basis. They get their chassis, their bodies, you know, wind tunnel time, you know, simulation. They get all that from them big teams. So it's kind of like an extension of RCR and an extension of Roush Fenway. We're still on our own little island here. That's why it's important for us to pick and choose our battles, and to work really hard on the things we need to do for the future. Do we know how to get all those tools and do all the things? Oh, yes, certainly we do, but we don't have all that funding yet to be able to go out and do that.
Tommy, you told us earlier you've gone from a start and park team to a race team. You're actually contending now on a regular basis, and I imagine there's quite a bit of difference in those two roles for you, not being a start and parker, but being a racer.
Well, you know, when you're doing that, you can probably run one car 5-6 weeks straight, just service it and, you know, do minor service. Now, all these races that you race, we got to take a different car. You know, because of the preparation, so much preparation involved. I mean, since we signed the Golden Corral deal and the Big Red deal and the Excel deal, we've taken a different car to each race, and we have to build up our program like that. So again, that's another reason why we're taking off the All-Star weekend, just to keep working on those things.
How much testing time do you get? Do you get a chance to go places and run your car? We hear about teams going to tracks that aren't NASCAR tracks and the like to try to get a little bit of extra time in, or is your testing pretty much limited to practice on the weekends?
Yeah, it's just basically, you know, on Fridays and Saturdays in practice, and then we have Sundays, you know, on the race. That's what set us back so bad at Darlington. We only had 11 laps of practice, and we had a whole test plan to run through for a 2-hour practice. So kind of didn't get to where we needed to do. So to get to, you know, finish 24th is kind of okay for us. I mean, we have different types of goals for different type of racetracks. So we shot to finish in the top 20 at Darlington. We finished 24th, so we were a little off there.
All right, let's look ahead. Are there upcoming tracks on the schedule that you're kind of looking forward to?
Well, we're pretty much focused on all of them right now. You know, they're all important races. Pocono probably is our least favorite place that we're going to probably concentrate on the most. Charlotte's a big weekend for us. Kansas is a big weekend with Excel Construction coming back on board. The road courses are pretty good. We're pretty close to having Ron Fellows drive our car for both road course races. So that's pretty exciting. Then, you know, Speedway stuff, we're going to have both the 35 car and the 36 car with Steve Park and Dave Blaney at Daytona. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, but it's pretty exciting right now.
Well, I'll tell you, it's really refreshing to a lot of people to see a guy like yourself work on a dream and see it start to come true. Keep up the good work, and thanks again for joining us on Raceline.
Thanks.